Good morning, everybody.
Oh, I was like, what is that? You guys, you don't even know. Just wait.
You don't even know what.
Anthony has a surprise for me.
Oh, that.
Or I guess I can just say at least what it is.
Yeah.
Our studio has a new setup, and we're very excited about it.
Feels good,
It does.
you know?
Here's my stool. No, you didn't think about the short people in here.
Never do.
I need a ledge for my feet. Is my stool nearby?
It's behind the radio out there.
Yeah, no one thought about my legs. Uh-oh.
What? Oh.
Hello, there I am.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome to the new and improved Carla Marie and Anthony show. How's it going, Carla Marie?
How's it going, Anthony?
You're so far away from me.
I know, it is weird.
It's kind of nice, actually.
Don't worry, I can still kick you.
Yeah, I know. You've been doing that from time to time.
This is so fun. I feel like a news anchor.
Welcome to our new setup. There's still a couple things that need to be adjusted, but for the most part,
It won't change on camera.
I think we're in a pretty good. Well, we've always been in a pretty good place because the place is the Gillywagon office. But
We'll give you the whole breakdown of, because you can't tell what this table is, or I guess, could you even tell what the last table was?
other than a table, no.
It was a rectangle,
Yeah.
and we had to be like up against the wall. Now we're kind of in the middle of the room. You've got both light walls. Like I used to sit here and face this way. Like
Yes.
you're in the same spot almost.
For the most part,
essentially.
yeah.
I would be across from Anthony. So
Yeah.
now we get to like open up to the camera and to each other and have all our lights behind us, which I'm very excited about.
And there's a little more room because the table is
Bigger.
better suited for this space as opposed to a rectangle. It's a square.
This room feels 3 times the size of what it was.
You know, let's just go into some of the original things. So we
See
had
the
been
chat.
what?
Let's see what the chat
You
says.
can see the
If
chat.
anyone says they hate this angle, I'm going to burn this whole place down.
I don't think anyone's gonna say that. So, oh well, look at that. We're in a hype train level 4. So let's see if we can get through that. So it's not necessarily a Pokemon themed setup. That's just what I had to put in front of us because there was some dead space here.
There's one Pokemon.
There's 2. There's a Pikachu within the duck,
Oh, I can't see that.
and then there's the
The light's too
Charmander.
bright on the yellow.
Yeah, we'll figure all that out later. There's still a couple things that need to be tinkered with, as always. And Carla Marie is never going to be happy. This light's too bright.
Excuse
This
me?
is blah, blah, blah.
The reason we had to change this whole thing is because of you.
Yeah, but we just invited our friends into our new place. So, like, let's maybe pretend like we like it for a second, Carla
No,
Marie.
I love it. I just said the duck was too light.
Anyway, we had been trying to figure out a better way to set up this studio, because when you have two people broadcasting and doing as many things with their broadcast as we do, right? Usually we have multiple cameras. There's a lot going on. Creates a lot of wires.
Yes.
And those can make a room feel very chaotic. Bless you. Very quickly. Bless you again.
Thank you.
So we were trying to figure out best ways for like cable management, which is the nerdiest thing we could talk about. But I kept saying there has to be a way we can build a table and run everything through like the center and just have all the cables run through, kind of like a real broadcast studio, right? Where all the cables have a specific channel that they're supposed to go through. And
wait till you see what this started as. Do you have a final photo?
Well, here, I could put up, let me extend this real quick.
Okay, so for months, Anthony kept saying, I want a square table with, you kept describing it as, how were you describing the bottom?
Oh, I don't remember.
Base of what you wanted.
What did I say?
You kept saying you wanted like a barrel or something, like a big round base. And everyone who watches the show at this point knows this, but Anthony likes to tinker.
Mm-hmm.
Tinker and tones. So much so to the point where it's one of those things where I'm like, yep, okay. And I'm yes. I'm not really saying no. I'm just saying yes, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where I'm going to find a barrel.
So I worked with Amy from Gillywagon and Seattle Cocktail Club. We looked at a million different things. We went to 3 different like salvage type stores. Looked at barrels, but the problem with a barrel is the way that they're constructed. If you adjust anything,
right, it's going to shatter.
It'll start warping and falling apart. So this is kind of unfinished what the table looks like.
Yeah, there's a really nice vinyl top on here now.
And you can see that there's a little hole in the top for all the wires, and it goes down through those 2 things. Those 2 things
wait till you see what those 2 things were.
Are garbage from one of the businesses nearby. We went and we asked them if these were just sitting outside in our parking lot. And I got into the car, looked to my left, saw those, and thought, that's it.
Now, if those weren't piled up like that.
If they weren't piled on top of each other, I don't know if I would have had the vision in my head to see that as the base of our table, because they would have been so short. And maybe I wouldn't have seen both of them.
It's so cool so first of all, this is a sailboat place that fixes sailboats and stuff. Who knows what was on there? We should find out. So
that is a spindle, and I think it's like metal cables that used to be on there.
It's crazy to think that you were able to take these from being tossed into the landfill.
Yeah.
And now it's our table.
So we went and we asked the business if we could take them. They were like, yeah, absolutely. It's garbage. Carla Marie and Amy sanded them down and put some like wood glue and stuff.
I just did the wood glue.
And then you saw what they looked like while they were in the shop. This table, that's all Carla Marie.
Yeah, because we were for weeks trying to find a square tabletop the size that we needed. And we kept looking for tabletops. And one day I was like, I'm going to go on Facebook Marketplace. I found the exact size table that we needed for $45. And the woman was even like, the legs are removed, easy for travel. So the legs are already off. Yeah. You didn't have to take them off.
So we stacked everything on top of each other. And the reason it has to be a base like that, and the reason I didn't want legs on the side of the table is if we have guests and stuff, we're going to be on the same side of this desk. And it now gives us more freedom around the table to do what we need to. Spin out of our chairs if we want instead of rolling back. So just little things like that.
Whole thing minus the manual labor time costs under $100.
Yeah. Then.
Well, we didn't pay for the labor, but just say it.
This is now what the studio looks like.
Whoa! I didn't even see this picture.
Yeah, so there's one extra
cable.
Go? There's one extra cable that is not where it's supposed to be. But other than that, I mean, everything's kind of running exactly where we want it. And you'll notice that there's a big gray cable on the floor there. And all of our cables that we have here on our table and the camera run through that. So it keeps everything organized. And
my tissue box is not in that spot anymore. It's right next to me.
Okay. Thank God. Because what would we do if we couldn't listen to Carla Marie blow her nose?
Watch it run out of my nose.
All right. So
I'm proud of you, Tones.
That is what we got.
The carpenter is in your genes somewhere.
I did very little carpentry.
Well, you could envision things.
Yeah. That's like the easy part, though, isn't it? Doing the work is the hard part. So shout out to Jamie, shout out to Jeff.
Yeah.
Because everything that we've built in here, everything that we get to enjoy in this space would not exist without Amy and or Jeff.
Heather on Long Island said that is a far cry from the home glass kitchen table, even further from the metal kitchen table in Anthony's apartment.
I thought that metal kitchen table was actually pretty good. That shop table was pretty awesome.
We were using your computer camera, right?
For a little bit, yeah. The computer was like 6 feet away from us. And then we had our phones, I think, to see the chat.
Why did we move it to your bedroom?
I don't remember.
Because when we did that first stream, it was in your bedroom. And I remember, because there's no air conditioning in Seattle apartments, it was so hot.
Yeah. It got pretty warm.
I will never forget that first stream.
Yeah. But I think that's the cool thing. And, you know, we have so many radio people and other entertainment avenues that reach out to us asking us how to build certain things. Not physically build, like not blueprints, but how to grow. And I think one of the reasons they see us as a source of that information is, you know, we've been pretty open about kind of, you know, bootstrapping it to get this far, right? It's just kind of starting wherever you start and then building incrementally throughout the process.
Don't start in this spot.
No. I wouldn't, if this was even available when we got let go back in 2020, I don't know if I would have known what to do with this space, right? Like nothing would have made sense because
you have to live in it and change it as it goes.
Yeah. And that's actually funny because Carla Marie yesterday asked me after this was all set up and we finally felt accomplished and we're happy with the way all the wires and everything were. She said, why didn't we just get this table originally? I said, well, we didn't know. You have to live in a space and do the thing.
I think I said originally we need a square table.
You did not say that. Carla Marie did say we needed a black wall.
I was the only person who voted for black slats.
I still think it would have felt more cramped if that was the case. But I don't think you're wrong either.
But then the problem with that is you can't wear dark clothes.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
Well, now we can't wear light clothes.
I know. I have so many like random white shirts that I'm like, I'm going to look like a head.
Is that a little janky looking Charmander on the screen? That is.
Where?
The Charmander, the orange, this guy, right?
Oh, Juan made that for us.
Yeah, so Juan made that. There's some cats that look, I don't know what these beads are called.
I don't know, ironed beads. I think the camera's not focused.
I can adjust it.
Did you notice that?
Well, on parts of it, like, it's not going to be focused on the good luck
but on
duck.
us.
I'll fix that.
And then my drink's blurry.
Well, the drink, I'm not worried about the drink being blurry, Carla Marie.
Are you going to do this thing where you zoom in really close to my face?
I don't need to do that now.
Okay. It's weird. So, it seems like everyone's happy, and I don't know if they're actually happy or if I threatened everybody. So, it's probably a little mix of both. Oh, I accidentally clicked out of the chat. I get it back. Pop.
I closed it?
Yeah, it's fine. I X'd it out. Do people still say that?
Should we zoom into Carla Marie?
Go ahead, whatever. I don't care. Do people still say X'd it out?
How's that now?
I think it's better.
You're not even looking, are you?
I am looking at it.
Next on the list, hiring a producer.
I thought it was on the list for today. Yeah, we can pay them in Seattle Cocktail Club drinks.
I mean, some people would probably get paid in alcohol.
Martha said zooming in on the boobs, gonna miss them.
And I know you can barely see the Pikachu, but this is just a temporary knick-knack. Is that what we call them? Setup?
Yeah.
So next, we do have a list, though.
We're gonna put a corner shelf with knickknacks.
We could maybe do that. I think they would cover some lights, but that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, so this is Uncle Johnny's
What's
Good
going
Luck
on
Duck.
with this?
Oh, I don't know what that wasn't supposed to happen. There we go. That like went by itself. So yeah, in the middle we have Uncle Johnny's Good Luck Duck, which has been in our home studio up until Tuesday.
Yesterday, yeah.
So this is the duck that Johnny gave us when we got our own show in Seattle.
That was his going away gift.
And it was so surprising because listen, I was probably one of the first people to meet Johnny outside of Elvis and probably maybe like Greg T or someone.
Why?
Because I would have to book all his stuff, so I'd have to like call him for information, and I'd see him I don't know. I just was one of the first people that got to meet him, I think. But that's not even important. What I'm trying to say is I knew him for so long before we left New York. And never would have thought that he cared enough.
Yeah, not that
he was like a bad person.
He would have been like, oh, I need to get Carla Marie and Anthony.
Yeah.
For all we know, someone could have given him this as a gift, and he could have been like, I'm taking.
Oh yeah, someone could have given that to him separately. But it was so surprising that
Carla Marie, I can hear it.
Thought of us, came in, did the whole thing on the air, presented us with a good luck duck.
Oh, we gotta find that audio.
So we've kept it. I mean, it's been in our radio studio. It's been in our home studio. Now it's in our studio.
Yeah.
What do we call this? New studio?
Streaming studio.
Broadcast. Whatever.
Digital studio.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Next thing on the list, Group Trip 2025. Carla Marie.
Yeah.
What do we got? What's the update?
The update is, so we have been approved. We proved that we have enough people that would like to travel with us. So that's exciting. So we have a call today with the company Trova Trip that is going to essentially plan the whole thing. That's who you will book through. And they basically said, based on the responses, a Costa Rica or Bali trip seem best. And they gave us a few itineraries to look through.
They gave us 3 itineraries. 2 were Costa Rica and 1 is Bali. And it's just different sides of Costa Rica, like different things you can do in different parts of Costa Rica.
We're currently having a BTS battle, not boy band, behind the scenes.
So the BTS behind the scenes battle is, as much as we would love to go to Bali.
Hold on. Let's back up for a second. When you say we, say I.
As much as I would love to go to Bali?
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to go to Bali. Why is that a bad thing?
You said we.
You don't want to go to Bali?
No,
well, I don't understand what you're... Why? This seems like a weird detour to take in this discussion. Would both of us like to go to Bali, yes or no?
No, because the second part is not a we. Go.
I didn't say the second part. You didn't let me get to the second part.
Don't we in the first part if you're not going to we in the second part. Thank you, Angela. I would like to speak on behalf of Carla Marie.
Okay. Reverse.
We need a swirl on the screen.
So, as much as I would love to go to Bali at some point in my life by myself without anyone in this room, I just don't think it is the most cost-effective, group-friendly decision we can make in this context.
And I guess I don't disagree with that.
Oh, don't join me here. Don't join me here.
My turn.
Okay.
I'm sure Costa Rica's great. I've never been there. It'd be a great place to go. However, I personally think if we are hopping on a group trip and we are going somewhere, we need to go somewhere. And Costa Rica is very close to New Jersey, where a lot of these people are.
Which is good, because the flight difference by itself. So one of the things you'll learn as we're doing all this is the price that Trova Trip charges is everything excluding the flight.
And on Bali would be March.
Exactly. Also, Martha brings up a great point that even Amy brought up when we were talking to her about this the other day. Martha said, Team Costa Rica, I want to go to Bali with Mikey, her husband, not a group. I don't think Bali is a place where a lot of people, I think, do envision going with their person.
I mean, they can come.
Yeah, but without us. I think that's the point.
Okay, fine. We'll go to Costa Rica, but we're all surfing.
Sure, yeah, whatever. Yeah, Angela in Spokane, I want to go to Bali with my honey. See?
You can come.
I can't wait to go to Bali by myself. Jolly Russian Buddha said we are going to... Oh, I didn't realize Justin
we were
going to honeymoon in Bali.
Well, it didn't... Perfect. You can come on our Bali trip.
We're not doing a Bali trip. So, listen, we still have to get more information. We have a call with the company today.
What if they say, sorry, next year we only have Bali trips?
Then that's it. If there are no other options, you take the only option, but there are other options.
Other Angela said, Bali is a great for group trip. Actually used to plan them.
I'm sure it would be. But I just think for our first trip, where we don't even know what to expect, let's not travel halfway around the world. Let's stay kind of local-ish. a little Central America. So,
Oh, I was thinking Middle America when you said Central America. I was like, where the fuck are we going?
Nebraska. That's where we're going.
Well, because that happened as I saw Maria in Omaha say something. So my head literally went Nebraska, and I was like, all right, cool.
Yep. So we'll get more information today. It will most likely be, barring any weird surprises they give us, a Costa Rica trip. We just have to figure out which one.
Is Costa Rica Pura Vida? Is that where that's from? The bracelets and everything?
I don't even know what is Pura Vida. Sounds like a
Beautiful
water company.
life.
Maria in Omaha said yes. Maybe that's
I
what
used
you
to
just
buy their
asked. I
bracelets.
have no idea.
But Pura Vida is a Costa Rican phrase.
Okay, drown you out. Yes, that's Costa Rica.
Pure life.
Is that like their like tagline to get people to go?
I don't know, but there's a video of me doing things. I didn't know Amy Tuck, and you did not include that.
I didn't know it was there.
Oh, actually, you should put this video on there. I'm talking shit.
Well, you have to email it. Yeah, Localish is a first group trip. I can't talk. Good first trip idea. Thank you, Fred the Mailman. Look at that marijuana. He was the first person I told about this beautiful broadcast table. That is my barber Miles, who also, by the way, Carla Marie, complimented me on shaping my mustache.
Wow.
All he did was clean up like the line for the upper lip.
But why didn't he do the indent like your dad had, the wings?
Yeah, I don't know if that was a purposeful thing my dad did back then. I think it was just his whiskers were so long that it like parted. I don't think he actually like did a little line
Let's
in the
get him
middle.
on and ask him.
He probably doesn't remember.
No.
I mean, that picture was a long, long time ago. So this is interesting. AMS 06H said, the nice thing about Bali is the flights are the most expensive part. Accommodations, transportation, food, souvenirs, etc., all super cheap. Costa Rica is a lot more expensive for all those things. Which I could see that.
But I
true.
think the actual trip when we were looking, Costa Rica was still cheaper.
Oh, even minus the flights.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I believe. Also, sorry, AMS. I called you Angela earlier. The A's throw me off.
They do sometimes.
Anna Marie or Anne Marie?
We have her email.
What?
You could probably look at it. But yeah, I did get a compliment on the stash. Martha's not happy about that because she very much dislikes. I got to go.
I'm used to it now. It's norms to me.
I got to take my buzzer and do my cheeks again.
Why?
Well, because the stubble's getting like too long now, or it doesn't really accentuate the stash, you know? If I'm going to have this thing for a couple weeks, people are going to know about it.
There's so much hair on your face when I look at you. I can't even.
It's a hairy face.
You got eyebrows.
Anna with an A, by the way, Carla.
Okay, I will not forget now. That's definitely my mom's whole name.
So Life is a Hike said, I agree the worst part of Bali is the flight. But it's interesting because I do think the flight ends up being the thing. Even if you say to someone, hey, everything when you get there is going to be much cheaper than this other location.
Right.
The flight is still the thing you
Still
don't
hurts.
have another option for,
Yeah.
right? Like, you can choose not to buy souvenirs or whatever if souvenirs are expensive. Yes, Carla Marie?
I got a text. It was scary.
What was it?
We'll get to it on the list.
Okay. But that's what we have for Group Trip 2025.
Also, you don't say you don't have to buy souvenirs.
Why?
Because you have to buy at least one. I'm not buying shot glasses for everybody.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
not one of
not.
those things.
What do you count as souvenirs?
An ornament for our Christmas tree.
Okay, so that's full on souvenir. I'm not a souvenir guy. I
You like that?
I like that for you because it's something. Now that we share a space, you can get your souvenirs, but they're away most of the year. I don't have to see them all the time.
I used to do magnets.
Yeah, not that. That's
I'm
not
over the
for me.
magnet life. Burn them all.
I used to do shot glasses when I was like a kid, which is weird. But it was really before I started
know.
drinking. I just
Same.
liked collecting shot glasses. So I will buy things when I travel. I just don't know if they count necessarily as souvenirs.
Okay, a pen counts as a souvenir. You buy it away, it's a souvenir.
Anything?
Yeah.
So when I go to
If you
Japan,
buy an outfit, it's not a souvenir.
so when I go to Japan, if I buy something from a Pokemon Center, that is just burp into the microphone. Would you consider that a souvenir? And And what would you categorize that as?
I guess a souvenir is something that represents the area that you were from.
Yeah.
But I feel like, so here's my thing with souvenir. It feels like it has a negative connotation. Like a souvenir has to be something you buy in a gift shop that's like, I love New York.
Okay.
Opposed to if you come to Seattle and you go shopping at a random local business here and you buy a Seattle, like if someone goes to Standard Goods here in Ballard, right? And they have cool Ballard shirts and whatever that we would also buy.
Yeah.
Is that a souvenir? If you...
I don't know. What would you call just a thing you buy when you travel? Right?
Like, we need to normalize souvenirs being things you buy from local businesses, not... I guess every business is a local business when you're traveling.
Yeah.
A thing that is kept as a reminder of a person, place, or event. So
I guess, yeah. Jen said you would consider those things a gift, but what if it's for myself? A lot of people, though, Carla Marie, are loving the ornament idea.
Oh my God, it's the best. My whole tree is just places I've been.
And I do think it's cool. It's not something
You hate the way it looks, but it's cool.
I don't really hate the way it looks. It's not something that I would have thought of doing. And if I
don't know where I got it from.
Lived elsewhere, it's not something that I would do in my home. But I like the idea of it.
It's cool because then as every year when you're hanging up your ornaments, you're like, you kind of reminisce about every trip you went on.
Yeah, as you're putting them up, it's
and
pretty
it's
cool.
the best.
Martha said, in my mind, a souvenir is something with the name and location of where you went.
I agree. That's where my mind also goes. But by definition, that's not what a souvenir is.
Yeah. I always try when I'm traveling, if there's, like a local item that place makes.
Did you get, what'd you get here?
Huh?
What would you get in Seattle?
In Seattle? That's a good question.
Coffee, cheese.
I do think eating the place you're in is more important than getting a souvenir and taking it back home.
Of course.
Right? Like, and not just going to nice restaurants. I'm talking about going to like local, traditional type places.
You can spend hundreds of dollars to get your fish frozen sent home.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. What would you get in Seattle?
Like food-wise to bring home?
No, just like...
Oh, souvenir.
Gift-wise, if you will.
Something from Pike Place Market.
I think something...
bouquet
like
of flowers.
maybe one of those... Maybe like a Native American carved wooden bowl of some sort to like put... I don't know, something like that.
Oh, that's Fred said I've been trying to buy local art when I travel.
That's a good one, too.
Oh, yeah, when you come to Seattle, you got to eat dicks.
Yes. Got to have a whole bag of dicks.
Seattle Cocktail Club, please email that video to me.
What video?
The one of me constructing.
Oh, email it to hello@carlamarieanthony.com. Thank you.
I texted it.
All right. We do have to take a quick break
Oh, good, because I got to pee.
because I had to snooze that ad break for a second. While I get the word game set up, it shouldn't take very long.
What would you like me to do?
No, you can go to the bathroom, Carla Marie. Just get on out of here.
I'll wait.
Boot, scoot, and boogie. Although, didn't we find out, it's not boot.
No, I knew what it was.
What is it?
Boot, scootin', boogie.
Yeah, I thought it was boot, scoot, and boogie.
Yeah, I know. Don't
Like
try
it
to
was
drink-
three. Like it was
Once
three
again,
steps.
you're weeing me into these things.
Hold on, I gotta close this. Okay. Yeah, I always thought it was three things you're doing.
Song. Boot, scoot. Wait, my boot, scoot. No, boot, scootin' baby. My boot, scootin' baby is driving me crazy. My obsession from a western. My dance floor date. My rodeo, Romeo. Cowboy got from head to toe. Gonna make a mine. Better get in line. 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. It was on some karaoke thing my sister and I had, but I don't think it's a real song.
Was it on Hit Clips?
I think so.
You know what I listened to at the gym the other day? And then we're gonna take this break. I listened to
Oh, it is.
Buzz Cuts.
You did.
Do you remember that compilation album? It came out around when Now That's What I Call Music was a big thing. And they were just like printing all these different compilation albums. And Buzz Cuts was like early 2000s rock. So it had some Creed, had some Three Doors Down.
Creed or 3 Doors Down when I'm working out.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Honestly.
By the way,
Jesus. God bless you.
the song that I was singing is called 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's by Steps.
So it's not the Boot Scootin' Boogie.
No, that's the song I just sang. My boot scooting baby is driving me crazy.
I don't even know what we're saying anymore. Carla Marie, get on out of here. We'll be back in a couple minutes. got to figure out this word because then they're never going to tell us if we don't get it. Oh no. Plenty at the last second. Lenny, that was impressive. Or we got the fake letter in here.
LinkedIn.
There's a lot of options on this one.
Dink. Oh, we got that. What is dink other than double income kids? Real word. Dinkwad. Oh, a dink is, by definition, Oxford, a partner in a well-off working couple with no children.
Nice.
But that's weird because it's a acronym.
But isn't that like scuba is the same thing, right?
Scuba?
Yeah. People are trying to focus here, Carla Marie.
Oh my God, they filled it up fast. Kiln? Go kiln.
Damn, look at that. 3 games in a row where I can't even say we because I didn't contribute a damn thing. Where all of you got all of the words. How about we jump back into the show, Carla Marie? What are you doing there with your nose?
Just holding in a sneeze.
All right, so we do have our list, free food for everyone, and then we've got 2 week titties. That is the last thing on the list today. So first,
Okay.
Free food for everybody because everyone likes food. Carla Marie, what do you got?
So yesterday I got to host an event so I've been working with visit.org. Basically, they are a company that is the go-between for major corporations and local nonprofits in cities across the world. So
you're not visiting anything?
No, at least
Okay.
for my part of this department.
Okay.
I basically work as a freelance host. So they'll say, hey, we have this event coming up in Seattle. We're going to have this corporation there, and it's going to be at this nonprofit. We need you to kind of just facilitate and host and
All right.
introduce things, do things, whatever.
Okay.
Yesterday, the event was at Beacon Food Forest. Beacon is an area in Seattle, and it was at this food forest, which was a
Food force?
food forest.
Forest.
And it was this huge area, I don't know, maybe an acre, maybe a little less. And it's like a community garden, but way bigger. And the
Okay.
job for all the people that were there volunteering from their company were to weed, move mulch, water, do all these things. I mean, there were like 30-something, 40 people
Oh, wow.
working on this garden yesterday. And it was such a cool experience. And the whole, like, you need to look up if you have this in your own city, because if I just need some blueberries, I can go there and pick them.
So that's my question, because I know my aunt in Long Beach in California, she has like a plot of land near her, a couple miles away from her home, that she gets to garden like to her pleasure, right? Like she could put whatever she wants there.
Can I go there?
I don't, but I think in her area, you have to like pay for your
No.
little patch, and that's yours.
Okay.
So this one,
There's-
you plant anything anywhere?
There's no money and no rules other than if it doesn't say that it's ripe. Like there's normally signs that'll be
Oh,
like
cool.
ready for picking. There's no rules. There's no you can't take this much. You can't do this. There's no you have to plant in order to take. That's not the point of this
Okay.
community space. And it was just, it's so cool. And the entire thing is ran by all volunteers except for 2 people that are actually just staff.
Okay. Are they like city employees?
I don't think so. So the area is owned by Seattle Utilities. It'll never be gentrified because it is almost on top / next to a reservoir, and you can't put property there. So it's safe, which is great. And they're just planting new things. And they were explaining as we were on the tour originally that because of how it's built, so because it's a hill and there's a natural spring under one part of it, that you have so many different climates essentially. So there's a super wet climate and there's a drier climate in just this one area. And they can grow everything from walnut trees to artichokes to blueberries to
Pretty cool.
squash. Last year they sent, so not even just people that picked food, thousands of pounds of food to local food banks.
That's awesome. So
So we're going to ride our bikes there and go picking and volunteer.
do they tell you like, oh, we use this type of fertilizer here? Because like, what if people don't want chemicals on there? Or like
I'd
pesticides
imagine,
and stuff.
I don't know what they use. I imagine it is stuff because I know here when I go get our dirt or our fertilizer, I can choose specific fertilizer that is locally composted.
Oh, cool.
So it may be that. They also do their own compost, I believe.
That makes sense.
I think.
That makes sense. That is really cool, though. God bless you.
So look up if you have either a food forest or a community garden. They are different. I'm not sure exactly how in your area. A, for you to pick from, B, to volunteer at. It was great.
And
People
then,
loved weeding. We couldn't get them to stop. Everyone wanted to weed because they were like, it's just so satisfying. I'm at a desk all day.
yeah, I was going to say, with Seattle, you know, you have a lot of people that are at their desks for very long hours.
And a lot of the people were young, so I'd assume they don't have property to weed on their own. Like, this isn't a chore for them. It was something that they never get to do.
But I bet you if it was their own property, they would not be enjoying it.
That's
This is
what-
something that
yeah.
you get out to go do. You know you're helping a community. You know you're helping like a thing that's larger than just you. And like you said, you get outside. Because there's so
beautiful.
many people in this city
Yeah.
who work for some of the big tech companies, Microsoft, Google. I mean, they're all here.
Yeah.
They all at least have a big office here. And then obviously the ones that are based here, Microsoft, Amazon, Expedia is a big one. Who else do we have here that I'm missing? I know there's Nordstrom and Starbucks, but anyway, you have so many people that are locked into doing coding and whatnot
Yeah.
all day long that getting out there with other people specifically is such a unique
Yeah.
experience.
Everyone loved it. It
Yeah.
was really cool. So I'll be back there next week doing another event there. So
Fred said people in Seattle love to weed. They also just love weed, probably. You good?
rough day over here.
Yeah. Did you not take your pills?
I took him.
So that actually brings us to the last thing on today's list, which is 2 week titties.
So while we were sitting here, I
Yes.
got a text alert from my plastic surgeon's office that said, appointment reminder, 6 a.m. aquaplastic surgery, Thursday, May 23rd in Jupiter.
6 a.m.
My surgery, I am going to be sliced open at 6 a.m. I got to be there probably by 5.
Oh,
which is 2 a.m. our time.
Who's waking you up for that?
You, my mom, and my dad. We're all going in a bus.
Oh, I did not sign up for that.
Yeah, first one of the day.
This is my Florida vacation. I'm trying to sleep.
First slice of the day.
So 6 a.m. they're going to be cutting you open in 2 weeks.
I actually will find out. So after the show today, I have my call with the doctor's office to go over with Marina, who works at the front desk. She's incredible. To go over any questions she'll go over all the surgery with me. Sorry, I forgot my paperwork at home, but I'll be okay. She's going to go over the whole surgery with me, any questions, things that I will need, whatever. And then I make my payment. So this is like, it is real.
Yeah.
And so I'll find out the official time we got to be there today.
Okay.
But I started taking my boob pills today.
What are those?
Okay, so not actually boob pills, but it's Arnica Forte. So it's supposed to help with the healing process.
Okay.
So they recommend you take it beginning 2 weeks out. So
what does it do?
It less bruising, soreness, all of that. It just basically builds up your body to be able to heal faster.
But like what? How does it do that?
I don't know how supplements work. What do I look like?
Look it up. I'm not saying right now, don't look it up.
Maybe I can get some natural Arnica Forte in the Beacon Food Forest. Because there are plants there you can use for things.
Oh, I'm sure. Jenny KL7 said Arnica gel is great for normal bruises too.
That's what I used on my that's what I was putting on my body when they did the cupping on me and bruised me for life, basically.
As a clumsy person, Arnica is great. Helps with bruises, says Jess from Minnesota. What else do we have? I'm trying to see the chat right now. So Thursday, 2 Thursdays from now, your boobs will be coming out. And
they'll be out by now.
The reason I said after Carla Marie was sneezing that we were moving on to the boobs was that's something that you think is going to go away.
It could. I know. I really hope it does.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no proof that the sinus issues for me specifically are from this. But sinus issues, swelling of the nasal cavity is something that is one of the main symptoms that a lot of women who have breast implants have. It could take 1 to 3 years. Well, sorry, it could take 1 day to 3 years for your body to detox everything. Now, 1 day is insane, obviously. Well, yeah. Some things will go away right away, but your body now has to detox all of the heavy metals that have been in it, and it takes a while to do that.
So, okay, explain, and I don't know if you know the science behind this.
Probably not, but let's go.
Totally fine if you don't. You mentioned the heavy metals, but those aren't in the implants. So how does your body accumulate the heavy metals?
So in the silicone, there's all kinds of things that we don't even know about. Like, it's not like I just like, oh, there's milk or whatever. It's like heavy metals. There's all kinds of chemicals made up in this silicone. Okay. So there's not like a piece of steel sitting in my boob.
Of course, yeah.
But all of that is in there. Like, just what it's made out of.
Okay.
So that essentially seeps into your system whether your implant ruptures or not. And it's up to how your body reacts to that. That's why some women don't have issues because their body detoxes so well. Some women don't have a body that detoxes well. And I've been learning now through a lot of this that because it is so known now that there are certain genes that if you have that gene, your body doesn't detox properly. And those women you see are worse off when it comes to having breast implants. To the point now where I'm in this Facebook group and women are like, well, I want implants. I'm going to go get a genetic test done first to see if I have that gene.
That's smart.
And I'm like, okay, that's great that you can do that. Guess who has that gene?
You.
And I have for years, Dr. A has been having me take a specific supplement. It's the MTHFR. I call it the mother effer gene because that's what it looks like.
Okay.
I have a variation of that. So she has me taking a supplement 3 days a week to help with body detoxing.
Yeah.
I'm not great at taking my supplements, so I don't always take it. So I will have a harder time detoxing. So there will be things that I will do. I don't know yet because I go to Dr. A in June to now start the detox process.
Okay. Which I'm sure taking that pill or taking that supplement will help.
Will help.
So there are people that I'm trying to catch up on the chat, but it looks like people have been sending your podcast to other people with implants or people thinking about implants. I think it's Angela. Yeah, said, I was thinking the same thing. I sent the podcast to a friend of mine that mentioned last weekend that she wants to get a boob job. I told her to do the research and to really think about it.
Yeah.
And listen, people are still, if you want to get your boobs, get them.
I think the best thing is that, you know what? I want a boob job. But the second I start feeling like crap, sure, maybe go to the doctor for some other things. But if you're hitting dead ends, you know your answer.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the best thing is.
Yeah.
I am very lucky that I didn't spend the tens of thousands of dollars that all these other women did to find out what's wrong with them. I also am not at the point where I can't work because I'm in bed. I'm so sick that I'm losing my job or I'm covered in rashes. I'm not that. I haven't had to do all of that because I've had the answer right away. I also just wanted them out on my own at this point.
But, and this is the thing, as an observer of you, Carla Marie, as someone who's known you for a long time, I will say the thing that I'm interested in seeing is you're sick a lot. And I'm not saying that'd be funny. Like there are 2 days a week, at least, where Carla Marie is walking around feeling like butt. And
Was I like that when we were at Elvis's show?
No. I mean, we were also more hungover at Elvis's show than anything.
That's my thing. I used to pride myself. I'm like, I never get sick.
So as someone who lives with you, works with you, all of that stuff, I'm interested to see what happens when they're gone. And obviously not right away, but 6 months down the road. Mm-hmm. Is Carla Marie going to not be feeling as crappy as often? Because no one wants to see someone like this, but I feel like for the last couple of years, and maybe this is something we'll talk about if I'm on your podcast, but it's kind of like you're always sick.
That's what it feels like.
Right?
But I'm just pushing through.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm laying in bed every day, right? I force myself to do things. So when I hear these women that are like, I couldn't work out anymore, I'm like, well, I can do that.
But maybe not well.
No. And it's like, well, what is it going to be like if I'm actually running at 100% doing these things, right? Like haven't been able to lose weight in 4 years. I have 3 years. I have literally only gained weight for 3 years. That's it. Yeah. That is all I have done. Every time, no matter what I do, I'm like, oh, it's going up to the point now where it's like, it's funny. It is just so funny because it's insane. So that is one of the things that it just could be inflammation of the body. Mm-hmm. Like you said, the sickness. I had maybe 2 sinus infections in my life before the age of 32, 33 maybe. 2. I'm telling you, I never had sinus infections.
I know you have a comment that's highlighted that you're going to read in a second, Carla Marie, but also the interesting thing is...
They save a lot of this for your episode.
No, this isn't about that. What I've been hearing, because I'm listening to your podcast every time you post it, because I'm helping with editing or being in the room or whatever it is. People will say, oh, well, that didn't happen. Maybe it's because you're getting older, because that didn't happen when you first had... I'm sure I did.
I would be like, I don't understand. I can't do this anymore. Or I'm getting weight. And you're like, well, you have to realize you're getting older. And I'm like, but you don't understand, because I see so many people that are older than me working out less than I do. And yes, everyone's body's different, but it's frustrating not seeing a change when you're doing all the things you know you're supposed to do.
But the other thing is, because obviously as you're getting older, your boobs are also getting older.
Right.
And I think the interesting thing for most of the people that I've listened to on your podcast or heard other stories from, it's not something that gets triggered right away. And that's probably because it takes a while for those chemicals or whatever to seep into your bloodstream. Mm-hmm. And just because they seep into your bloodstream a little bit doesn't mean you're going to have an immediate impact, because those things need to build up over time. Just like eating crappy food one day doesn't ruin your life, but eating crappy food every day
well, and also
does, because it builds up.
And your body can fight it. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. So if you have a proper detox system, your body can fight it. I have that against me. Also, if there's nothing else going on in your body can fight the implants. Mm-hmm. That's fine. You'll be a functioning human maybe forever and whatever. I think getting COVID once and then twice shocked my system, where it was like, I can't work on all these things, and then it started spiraling out of control. Maybe. When I was on Paxlovid for COVID the second time, that's when I truly knew something was wrong. that week when I was saying I could cry thinking about it, was like, I feel like a new person.
Because of the Paxlovid?
I remember being like, I haven't had this much energy. I haven't been this clear-headed. I feel great. Maybe getting COVID knocked whatever I had going on in my body out of my system. And then when I came off the Paxlovid, it all happened again. So whatever is in that drug was suppressing, not curing, suppressing whatever was going on in my body. And I was like, I can do anything. And then there's days now where I truly feel like my body is 800 pounds and I can't, like, I'm like walking like this.
Well, what's the message you have highlighted there?
Oh, Alicia from the 215 said, I am considered high risk for breast cancer. And every time I go for my testing, I'm preparing myself for the worst. I hope it never happens, but I'm listening to the podcast in case it does, and I need a mastectomy. It's definitely making me think critically about what I do. A friend of mine is having one, and I sent it to her to listen to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, if you get a mastectomy, you basically are offered implants for free. Mm-hmm. Insurance pays for them. It is the one-time insurance will pay for implants. And because also your doctor is going to say, yeah, I would love to give you a mastectomy after your reconstruction because it is at your doctor's getting paid.
Yeah.
From the insurance
a doctor
company
is getting paid.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to them. They're like, yeah, I'm getting extra money, whether they believe in BII or not. And
BII is
breast implant illness.
Okay.
So you're taking this woman who was sick with cancer and you're putting something in her body that is now also linked to cancer.
But I think the other part you have to also remember is there is the self-confidence issue. Like, yes, I'm sure there's a part of the medical industry that might be pushing that. Mm-hmm. But there's also women who are going through probably the toughest time of their life.
Right. You feel
they think they're going to look like a totally different person. So that might make the transition through this breast cancer journey easier to digest because they know, oh, well, at least I will look quote unquote normal after it. So I don't want to like vilify anyone who gets that done after a mastectomy.
Of course not. But basically what I'm saying is there are possibly other options that are cheaper that women aren't being offered.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because of the big plastic, essentially.
Yeah.
And
big boobies.
So I don't know this, and this is something I can ask my doctor, if fat grafting is something that mastectomy patients can have. So that's where they take, and they do this now instead of implants for women. Yeah. You can take fat from other parts of your body and put it in your boobs, which has been like our
Wasn't that like the goal for, not the goal, but like the thing people dreamed about?
Oh, because there's a plastic surgery industry that is suppressing this. Maybe. Like apparently it was a thing when I got my implants.
So that's interesting though, because it's still plastic surgery.
It's not plastic.
Right? No, but it's still cosmetic surgery. So the same surgeons, it might be a different way to do it. The doctors, as long as you learn the new technique, should still be able to do that.
Right, but they're not getting money from silicone industries to work
big plastic, as you said.
Big silicone. So it's a wild ride once you get in. There's no way to be like just dipping your toe in to knowing all of this information. Mm-hmm. It's fully encompassing.
This is interesting from Heather on Long Island. She said, the interesting thing is my sister's implants post-mastectomy were recalled and she had them replaced. Curious what the difference would be over time. And now again, something I learned in your podcast. Mm-hmm.
I was so confused.
Back in the day, theoretically, you get them in and then they're just in forever.
For like years.
And now, what's the replacement? What's the warranty runs out when?
The FDA, no warranty. The FDA says you should. So it's kind of confusing because first they say you need to get an MRI after 6 years, I believe. I've never had an MRI on my breasts. After 6 years, you need to get an MRI, and then almost I think it's every 2 years they want you to get it. And then they're also saying, also after 6 to 8 years, you should replace them every 6 to 8 years. Mm-hmm. Who's going to do that?
It's interesting. Like, I don't know. There's no easy way for me to ask these women that I know in my life who have had breast implants. But like, I have a friend, Kristen, who's had them since before I met her. Yeah. And it's one of the few friends that Carla, I don't think you've even met Kristen yet, right?
But I've know everything about her.
And I've only seen her twice, I think, over the last 7 years when I go down to Vegas. But she's had them forever. And part of me wants to be like, well, have you had them replaced? Have you listened to this podcast? How do you feel?
No, because
what is it like? And maybe she has. I have no idea.
But here's the thing. this happened in, I think, 2018, 2019. The FDA was like, you should replace them every 6 to 8 years. No one called me and told me that.
Yeah.
And I understand. That's hundreds of thousands of people you would need to call and tell them.
Yeah.
But anything I saw in the news, because my sister was sending it to me, was specific implants that were being recalled. I didn't see anything about, like, I literally, truly have had no idea about getting them this new rule replaced every 6 to 8 years until I started doing this podcast.
Yeah. It's, you know what's interesting? The amount of experimental or unproven things that not only we are willing to push upon the general population, but I think it's way more predatory in industries or medications or treatments that impact women.
Of course it is.
I mean, think about how many things you probably, all women, put on their face or put in their hair or whatever in the cosmetic world that maybe aren't that healthy. Right?
A lot of it.
Exactly. And then you have implants and you have all these different things. And it's all because we have been pitching this idea of what the ideal person, specifically the ideal woman, looks like. And we've put such a priority on that that not only is big business willing to push that down our throats, but women are willing to accept it and try
and share it with one another.
Yeah.
That's the difference with men and women. Women have, I mean, everything that we are targeted for, from like our thighs to our butts to freaking getting your vagina lips plumped. That's a thing.
Plumped?
Vaginal rejuvenation. They plump them. Okay. I mean, they're everything. Where men, I feel like the only thing they are targeted for are erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I get that. That is a huge part of your life. You want to make sure but
you know, the crazy thing about that is that's not what the medication was made for.
I know that. I'm just saying they're targeted for that. And if you're losing your hair.
Yeah. Hair and ween.
Hair and ween. Now, you don't see really men, whether it's social media or telling their friends, hey, I've been using this, you should try it. Where my friends and I, it's, have you been getting Botox? What do you think? Like, we discuss this.
Yeah.
We would discuss if one of us got vaginal rejuvenation.
I wonder, and maybe I'm just not there at this point in my life with like my friends group of guys. I think guys do talk about the pill, right? I think guys do talk about ED and...
Do you?
I think some do. I don't, because that's not...
So you mean to tell me
you're
going to be 60 in the bro chat and someone's going to be like, hey, I just got the Viagra, it's so good.
I think by that time...
I don't think you guys will.
I think we would.
I would hope so.
I mean, the one thing that's hit our chat a couple times, like half jokingly and half not, is which like beard coloring gels people use.
Okay.
That's been a thing in our
what
chat.
What do you use?
None.
I mean, this is women have that. Root color. We have
I'm trying to think of what else, what other health things.
Oh, your mom says that men talk about it.
There you go. I guess they do. But that's the thing. It's hard for me to say just because that's not where, although I will say, when I was at my friend Drew's wedding most recently, or last May.
I'm so confused.
One of my friends, and the only reason I'm not naming him is because I don't know if this is public information for him. I guess he and his wife were trying to get pregnant, and they realized it was a he problem.
Not a she problem.
Not a she problem, and it was his testosterone. His testosterone levels were super low, so he started taking testosterone supplements. And it worked. But he very openly talked about it. It was me and like 3 other guys.
Okay, now that is a perfect example.
And that was in person.
But that is a perfect example of going back to women talk about it more than men do. Do you know how many women I have heard personally tell me in the last year, it wasn't me we couldn't get pregnant because of me. It was him. Not saying like, oh, it's his fault. It's just, it was because of him and this is what we had to do.
Yeah, no one's at fault in that situation.
And I go, now let's go to social media.
Yeah.
You see women finally talking about miscarriages and everything, right? We're seeing that, thank God, because it's helping other women be like, I'm not alone. I've had a miscarriage. You don't see men saying, yeah, we had a miscarriage and we're finding out my sperm are weak. So I'm going through this process. Because that is that is one of the reasons you have a miscarriage. The sperm isn't strong enough. The same way the egg may not be strong, or uterus, whatever. We're all in this together, but it's always the woman taking on the emotional or physical. It didn't happen because of me.
Yeah.
And I think we need more men to speak up. Like, say we were trying to have a baby.
Yeah.
And we find out somehow that my eggs are flourishing.
Yeah.
And your sperm are not. Would you publicly talk about that?
Yeah, I don't care. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. It's like I did anything wrong.
You put your phone in your pocket way too many times.
Maybe. So, you know what's funny? So, there's a couple things. First, I want to get to Fred the Mailman's comment. He said, I'll be 50 this year. The bro chat definitely discusses sleepy weens and colonoscopy. He said, we don't talk about hair. I'm one of the few that still have it in the chat.
Do you not talk about it because it's a touchy subject, because you have it and they don't?
They're all probably a little jealous. But also, I will say, in my group chat, at least right now, we're all in our 30s. Still, I think one person may have just entered their 40s. All really good heads of hair.
Okay.
It's like kind of weird that this group, and there's a dozen of us in it, all have our hair at this age. Not one person in there I don't think is bald.
Okay.
I might have the worst hair in the chat. And that's saying a lot. Like, my hair's not terrible.
No.
But I will say, I learned something.
Oh, well, so Martha had said she had 2 miscarriages before she had Zach, her son Zach. She said Mikey, her husband, had to take testosterone before she got pregnant, and her eggs were also old.
I mean, part of me just thinks, like, if you're trying to get pregnant, just may as well take, it's an excuse to take the testosterone, right? And actually, the reason that we brought up testosterone at my friend's wedding, and I'm going to transition to something else in a second, was my friends were asking me about working out and whether or not I was taking testosterone. And I didn't realize how many people do take some sort of testosterone
what can I take?
Supplement, men, I should say, just to work out. And it's not steroids. It's just as you get older, your testosterone decreases. Now, a lot of people take it even if their testosterone has not decreased.
Right.
And then you can work out stronger, better. Your muscles develop better. I would not take testosterone if I were you.
Apparently, if you get ovarian cysts, it means that you have high levels of testosterone or something. And I've had that, so I'm a man.
But you also think that could be related to your boob implants.
I didn't think that.
But I want to shout out a friend of ours.
Okay.
So our old boss, Jared, and they've been very public about this. Back when he worked in Philadelphia, he did a whole thing about working with like fertility clinics. And that's because he and his wife could not get pregnant the first time. And I remember asking him, because he was opening up about it as the person on the radio. I think he even had Elvis on in Philly to talk about it at some point. So he was talking to us about it and saying how they had tried all these different things, gotten all the testing. And at the same time, they each got tested to see kind of if it was a he or a she problem, or if they could even pinpoint anything. And I said, well, what were you thinking as you were waiting for the test results to come back? And he was saying something like, and it's not like he's a religious person necessarily, because I was praying that it was a me problem. He's like, because I knew my wife was struggling so much.
Don't make me cry.
That I didn't want her to think it was, she was already putting so much pressure on herself. He was like, the last thing I wanted was for this test to come back and her to like take on even more unnecessary guilt. And I think when it came back, they were confused because it was neither a he or a she problem. It was just like, it just wasn't
working,
happening.
Well, what's wild?
And eventually they ended up, this is the crazy part about them, and I'll pass it off to you. They did the whole thing, eggs, fertility treatments, whatnot, had their first baby, and then they still had 3 or 4.
Well, they had one embryo baby.
Then they had them
they had
stored
both
up.
frozen, basically.
Yeah.
Put one in.
And then they got pregnant. Not naturally.
Right. Without that.
Without any of that.
And now there's still a baby frozen.
Yeah. But that's the crazy thing is they went through all of that the first time. The second one was just like, whoop,
It just
here we go.
to be primed.
Yeah, maybe.
Basically.
But I thought that was a really interesting conversation for me to have because I'd never thought about it that
Right.
way, right? Because I've never been in that situation.
No. I think I would be in the same boat where I would hope it was me.
I think most people would.
Because I wouldn't want to deal with you being sad.
Well, no, it's not. I think most people, when you care about someone else,
Yeah.
you don't want them to take on, even though it's not like they did anything wrong, but you don't want them to put that on themselves.
Right.
Right. To place that burden unnecessarily on yourself.
I've been pretty, well, I guess I don't know how public I've been about this. I, at 28 years old, did an egg test of my AMH. That's your, what is it? A Amaril and hormone, whatever. It's your egg reserve,
Yeah.
not your quality, how many you got in there. And it was fairly low. That was an at-home test kit. Modern Fertility, they are great, but it's an at-home. You're pricking yourself. Could be user error. And it was fairly low at that point. That was 28 years old. Fast forward to last year, I had Dr. A, my doctor, do another one, full blood test, like whole vial. She's like, we're going to send it away. But keep in mind, you have an IUD.
Mm-hmm.
There's tests that say IUDs affect your blood test that we're about to do. And there's also research that say it has no effect on it.
And it's because it's hormonal.
Right.
So it's
But
hard to figure that out.
The IUD I have is super low on hormones, and I've had it for almost 5 years at this point, so it's running low. So we do the test last year, and it basically comes back that my egg reserve is dangerously low.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I don't know. We have a monster trying to break into this.
Oh, is that what it is? I was wondering what that noise was. I couldn't see him. I missed something, but all I know is Alicia from the 215 said, seriously, why didn't our mothers, aunts, et cetera, tell us anything? And this is, I think we are getting to a, what?
I'm going to let him in because it's,
Well, no, there's wires and stuff.
what's he going to do?
I don't know.
He's not a cat.
That's true. So it is interesting seeing DJ just said, hi, Pierre. Oh, there he is.
I don't know where the humans in this office are. Okay.
What? It is interesting seeing how like generationally people are discussing things like this more.
Yeah.
So that
Oh.
the generations behind them will have more information and feel even more comfortable talking about things like this with their families, their partners, their doctors, maybe not forcing, that's a weird word, but like
Forcing the conversation
with their doctors to make sure that they're getting the right testing earlier in life or freezing eggs earlier in life or whatever it is.
I think it would be great if you're like 20 and you test your AMH and then go again in 3 years and see, oh my God, it's dropping a lot. Maybe I should freeze my eggs. That would have been so great to know. When I was 28, I asked my doctor about freezing my eggs, my gynecologist, and she said, you have till you're 34 before you worry about that. And then what happened? I was 34 and I had no eggs.
But that's the interesting thing. And that was a female
Yeah.
doctor?
And I never went back after later.
I just wonder what, and I think there's been studies about this, like for some reason the medical industry just doesn't take women seriously. But I just feel like if a patient asks for something like that, they probably know their lifestyle, their situation more than this doctor. So like why? And I know it's not an easy process, right? Like freezing eggs because you're on a crap ton of hormones and it's a whole process. But if that's what the person wants to do,
how cool would it have been to know I had my 28-year-old eggs frozen somewhere?
But the crazy thing, and saying that it's a whole process, getting implants is also a whole process.
Yeah.
Right? They don't give you that much pushback with something like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Get it? You didn't get it.
No, I did.
I said exactly.
I got it.
Oh.
You know what makes a joke better? What you just did.
You didn't forget. Hold on, there was something I was going to say about eggs and sperm. I don't remember. But, my mom, this woman.
Yeah.
She's got some balls.
She does?
Her
whole life?
She had me at 34 and my sister at 36. And I forever was like, well, I got till 34 or 36. Here I am. Being like, my mom did this, whatever. And my sister and I both very much like, my mom had us in our 30s, we had this peace of mind.
Yeah.
So then when my sister was having problems getting pregnant, she had a full miscarriage after more than a month of being pregnant. And then she had what they said as a chemical pregnancy, where she tested yes for pregnant, positive for pregnancy, and then like 2 days later there was no pregnancy. So basically, because she was testing herself every day,
okay.
and if you just sometimes you wouldn't know that,
Yeah.
right? But she had what they called a chemical pregnancy. So that was like essentially 2 losses, obviously. And she was like, "What's going on?" And then my mom says, "Well, I was doing hormonal injections before I got pregnant with you."
Oh, and you guys had never
we were
known.
like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." We're like, "You should have told us
Yeah.
this at like 15." She's like, "Well, I don't think that's what got me pregnant." Oh, I'm sorry. Then what? She's like, "It was only for like a month." We're like, "Yeah, but still,
But it still
there
impacts
was
it, yeah.
someone that said you needed this, whether
Yeah.
that's what did it or not. You didn't tell us this."
Are we offline?
What? Unstable.
Oh, did we cut off for some reason? Let me refresh this real quick. Sorry, everybody.
Are we here?
Yeah, we're back. So real quick, we saw our Twitch feed say that we were offline for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know if it was just our connection. So sorry about that disruption.
Sorry, we had to open the door because he was losing his mind to come in here. No,
It's
you're
okay.
fine. He was like, "There's no humans. I don't know what to do." Like losing his mind. We're still on. Don't worry, his dad's in here. Amy, stop. We just didn't know what was going on. Okay.
That was just on our end. That was really weird. But anyway, sorry, I threw everything off there.
No, it's okay.
No, and I do think. What, are you leaving?
I'm shutting the door.
Oh, it
Yeah.
would be better or more beneficial if more parents, and I do think our parents' generation is
On
the turning
cusp.
point,
Well,
right? Like,
your parents.
no, I'm not saying individually, but that
No, I'm saying
generation
my
is
parents are older than your parents.
is better at least discussing some things. But like my grandmother, I can guarantee you, was not talking to her daughters or sons about any of this stuff. She just miraculously, like the Virgin Mary, got pregnant 13 times. Okay? Because it was not considered, especially from a Middle Eastern family. It's not stuff that you talk about. It's like, ayeb, it's embarrassing. That's the Arabic word. Ayeb, it's kind of like you would use it if like your kids are being embarrassing in public, like to tell them to stop. But it's just kind of this general idea of it's not polite. It's uncouth, if you will.
Okay. I would say
Which is very prevalent in like the Middle Eastern culture.
my sister going through her miscarriages 2-3 years ago was the first time we've ever had a conversation like that with anyone in my about anything in my family, because it was the first time luckily, right, for us, that was really the first time it happened to anyone in our immediate family. And
It never happened to your older sister?
no.
Okay.
And we were able to easily have these communications. I'd say the women, there are way more of us, obviously, where like my brother was like, okay. Like very, like he didn't know how to handle this. And then when Ashley was pregnant, secretly, we all knew. And this is what was wild about her pregnancy. I don't know if we've talked about that. She had her miscarriage, her chemical pregnancy, but it was also a miscarriage back to back almost, and then got pregnant. So she was essentially pregnant 3 times in a few months. Adriana, she was pregnant. That was the 3rd time. So her body was like just growing, stop. So by the time she was like a month pregnant with Adriana, she looked like she was 6 months pregnant. It was crazy.
Because her body was like ready for it.
So when we were in Disney, she wasn't even 3 months pregnant yet, but she looked it. So we were very much hiding it a lot. But my brother was so panicked. He was like, "Are you okay? Are you walking too much? Are you doing this?" Because he was like, now we got this little shell. We're scared.
Which is he was trying to do the best he could.
I'm not saying it was very much like this was the first time we've ever dealt with anything like this, and everyone in my family was like, what are we doing?" So I see my younger sister going through this at a younger age than I already am, and now I'm like, whatever, I'm fucked.
But you know what's funny? With your brother, he's coming from a place where he's a little more old school. Right? Like just in the way he was raised and the way that he
70s.
acts, like he's more old school. And he's not the most open person. He's great. I like him a lot. He's just not, he doesn't talk about his personal stuff very much.
Feelings.
And then he's tossed into this family with the loudest women that exist.
Oh, Don wasn't tossed. He grew up in it.
I know. But it's got to be weird for him dealing with all of the stuff that is
that's
very
why he's quiet.
feminine, right? Like talking about pregnancies and whatnot.
And periods.
And periods and whatever. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. This is weird for me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not weird for him anymore. I just think he's just like, ugh. He just very much is like, okay, whatever you just said.
Yeah. There was something from Becky in Miami this is wild. So Becky from Miami said, my mom had her kids at the age of 15, 22, 27, 35, and 39.
Holy hell.
That's crazy. You're just pregnant. And the crazy thing about that is you're just always raising a little piece of, like a little garbage monster. You're just always raising one of those things.
That's nuts. Marie in Omaha said, I had my first baby at 40. We're going to start trying soon for another, which means if it happens, I'd be 42 when I deliver. It's so scary. Nah, you got this.
Let's see. Court in Columbus. My mom had kids at 19, 37, and 41.
Well, my mom was 17, 19, 34, and 36.
Yeah. And we found out recently when my mom was in the chat, I think I saw her in here earlier, that my grandmother had my youngest uncle at 45. Mm-hmm. But my grandmother
was primed.
My grandmother
was like a seasoned skillet thing at that point.
You know, I wonder if because she was pregnant for so long, I could sound like the dumbest person in the world right now. Okay, just throwing it out there. When you guys have your periods, you are getting rid of an egg, right? You are discharging an egg from your body.
Listen, this is where I fail as a woman.
So in theory, the fact that my grandmother was pregnant for so long.
Was she not ovulating?
She wasn't, right? You don't do that when you're pregnant.
But the quality still goes down.
But they're the same eggs.
But the quality goes down.
So, but what I'm saying is...
So it's harder to get... It would still have been harder for her to get pregnant at 45.
Yeah.
Essentially because the quality... Yeah. They've been sitting in that fridge all these years.
She had been pushing back all of
Well, that's what I wonder. If you're taking birth control...
lost eggs for so long. Because when you're pregnant for 13 times, guess what? You're essentially pregnant for 11 years. 10 years total.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know if that made any sense.
I need a new lesson. I need someone with a whiteboard to explain ovulation to me again. Because there's like one day a month you can get pregnant.
I know there's a very small window. Yeah.
It's insane.
I feel like my school did a pretty good job.
I don't remember it
of teaching boys and girls.
We watched the video.
Like the general idea.
The birth video.
I don't remember watching the video. But I do remember the cartoon of like the eggs going through the fallopian tube and out of all of that stuff.
Was that Schoolhouse Rock?
No, it was.
Is there a Schoolhouse Rock about ovulation?
In 5th grade, I believe it was.
Amanda said my 14-year-old is having his video today.
Hey.
Are there people protesting outside? I bet there are.
Did I do a good job explaining what I was trying to bring up?
Which part?
The pregnancy, like
I get
delaying.
Where you're going. I don't know.
We got to talk to a vagina doctor. Do we know any?
I'm sure Dr. A could explain it.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched the birth video, and I just remember it was definitely filmed in like the 70s or 80s, which is fine if you have a hairy. It's okay. But I remember we were all like... They
were showing that?
It was just... watch the head come out of a real vagina, not a cartoon like your school. We saw the real one.
I'm sorry. Who seems to be a little more knowledgeable today?
Not you! I'm not going to let you sit here and ansplain ovulation to me.
You literally just said you don't understand ovulation.
No, I didn't say I don't understand ovulation. I'm saying I don't know of your theory.
Oh, okay.
And no one else seems to...
Real quick, Carla Marie, we do have to take one more break because it's going to take it in a second.
Why can't we just say no?
Because you can only snooze it for so long. Or we just say goodbye. What do you want to do?
I feel like I had more ovulation questions.
We can get
to those. I got things to do.
Okay.
Oh, it's in progress already.
The spot? Oh, well, I guess we'll just keep going then. We can't end it in a commercial.
Lisa said, it says hype train conductor when you highlight over them. We go up above Lisa. Go above Lisa.
I'm trying. Oh, yeah, right there.
Current
hype train conductor.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. All right, our ads end in a minute or so.
There was something I was going to say about, because my mom had a baby at 17, that means me right now. She had a 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 3-year-old, and was about to give birth.
Yeah. That's crazy.
19-year-old. Oh, my God. Which I know it's not insane. I know when I was talking about student loans, the amount of people that were like my age or younger is like, yeah, my kids are going to college this year. I'm like, how? Yeah. We're just babies. What?
Run Like a Husky said, is anyone else seeing commercials? So she
What-
probably can't hear us right now.
Say something.
Huh?
She's a subscriber?
Oh, yeah. That's weird.
Burn it
I
down.
don't- I don't really know how the whole
We'll respond
subscription.
to her. In case she can't see what we're saying.
Okay, there we go.
On the app, but not on the computer.
Huh. Yeah. Twitch is kind of like mysterious, even on our end with how they like serve ads and whatnot.
I think that this is like super dark. Not really, I guess.
What,
'Cause
the
that's just my-
shot?
No. My problem with having kids older,
Yeah.
which this is me with my parents now, is that you won't be in their lives as long as you could have, right? I mean, I'm well past that point at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, like, my dad had me in his 40s. He's going to be 80 next year. I'm only in my 30s.
Is he going to run for president? He's just about that age. He's so close.
That's why my mom's all the time. She's like, that's this age? What? So that's like the saddest thing for me, where like I look at my older brother and sister and I'm like, you've got to have our parents into your 50s. That's not, and this wood, what do we got?
That's what, definitely.
Like, hopefully that gets to be me, obviously. But I think about that, like, I don't know.
I do know, and my mom only told me this kind of recently, within the last 2 years, that I guess she had told my dad one of the things that was really important to her was having children younger, because you have to remember my mom was on the younger side of my grandmother's 13 pregnancies. Right? I think there's only 3 younger than her, whatever it is. So she's one of the younger ones. She didn't get a lot of time with her grandparents. And she wanted to make sure that her kids did have time with their grandparents. And that was that was like one of the main values that she had getting into the relationship with my dad. So I do think that matters, but at the same time, I also think we're at an age now where we understand, not that people before us didn't understand time is valuable, they did. We have so many better ways to stay in touch and keep communicating with our family members that our grandparents didn't have, right? Like, you could never text your grandparents or FaceTime your grandparents when you weren't there. So we can have
photos,
such...
Like, I don't have as many photos.
Exactly.
I had my grandpa for 8 years, and Adriana's probably got more photos with my parents already than I do with him.
So even if we have less time with those people, we can make it better. And the other thing to always think about is, yes, we would love to think that all of us are going to live long lives, and we kind of map out our lives.
Tomorrow.
But you have, why am I blanking on her name? Our friend that wrote the book and moved to Tennessee, and
Elisa?
yes. I mean, she got pregnant and her husband got cancer and passed away.
In their 20s.
Right? Like, anything can happen, so you can't live life that way. Obviously, if you want to do things earlier, do it. But you can't say like, oh, I'm going to have a child when I'm younger because I'll have 70 years with them. You might not.
If you get me pregnant and die, I'm going to kill you. I would hate you for the rest of my whole life. So don't do it.
I'd be dead. So
don't do it.
It wouldn't really matter. When I'm dead, you can feel however you want about me.
But I'll be honest with you, this is like a serious conversation to have here right now. If we do end up having kids, because we would want 2 children, right?
Yeah.
No more, maybe less, okay? We would have to do 2 under 2. I'm not going to be 50 years old having kids that are babies.
I got the easy job. It's fine. In regards to bringing those things to fruition.
Yeah, but then you take care of them once they're out.
Yeah, that's fine.
They're all yours.
That's fine. I'd still much rather do that than have to hold them, bake them for 9 months.
I would rather bake, push them out, and never have to deal with them again. I would love to know what it's like to be pregnant and not have to raise a child.
Oh, this is really cool from Fred the Mailman. He said, I became a dad around the same age my dad did. It's always weird seeing my daughter at certain ages and thinking my dad was so much more mature than I feel at the ages he was.
Yeah. And that's the same for me now. Like, this is the age my mom was when I was born.
But I think what we also learn, and we'll leave you with this because it's 9:30 at this point. You've been so generous with your time. We don't want to take up any more of it. I I think the other thing we learn as we get older is our parents were just as unsure as we are.
Mm-hmm.
They just most likely, hopefully for you at least, did a really good job hiding it.
And I think
They were making it up. They were making it up
do.
as they go.
Yeah.
Right? Just like we are. And
But-
they were probably doing their best.
But what Fred is saying kind of is like up until now, up until this point of my life, I had lived ages that I didn't know my mom at.
Mm-hmm.
So like now I'm finally in the mindset of this was her living.
Yeah.
Still don't know my dad. Think about it. Like he was.
Was he 40 when he had you?
He was 44. 43, 44.
Yeah.
So like I'm still not even there yet.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I wonder for parents who like your dad, who had he had 3 kids, right? When he was younger.
Yeah.
And how old were they when you were born? Around 15, 16, something like that?
No, when my dad's oldest when I was born was at least 20.
Okay. So you have your kids, you go through the shitty part of raising those garbage monsters,
Again.
and you think like you're clear, right?
They thought they were clear until Adriana was and Michael were. I mean,
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I gotta do all of this. I
mean,
got more diapers.
Adriana's with my parents at least 2 days a week, and
Yeah, that's true.
and I love it because they're chasing her around and they're being
Yeah.
active. They're still changing poop diapers.
That's crazy, man. You get to a point in your life where you're just always changing diapers. All right, it is time for us to get out of here. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. This was a weird day. We talked about a lot of different things, from tables to babies
And titties.
and titties.
Wait, what did we say we were going to call it? Throw them in the garbage Thursday.
That's the day. That's the day.
It's throw them in the garbage Thursday.
All right, have a good one. We will see you on Monday. And don't forget, there are new episodes of the Morning Show podcast available wherever you get your shows. Later.
I had to pee.